It's well, let's give it like 30 seconds. I just want to say something at the beginning that I said at the end of last night, which is this. This period of time is obviously a different kind of training, right? So we are doing something different than we do when we go to school. That goes for our school. It goes for every school right now. So it's unfortunately, you can't go anywhere. So this is what there is. But it is a unique opportunity, because if we can get good at the type of learning that is watching and then trying to emulate it, especially if you can do it, but even if you can only be listening to these or like, watching these broadcasts without doing them, put it on at work or whatever, I still recommend you even do that, because what this time is, it's an opportunity for us to get good at taking something that's like going into the visual part of our brain and trying to feel it, trying to put it into the motor part of our brain, trying to like forge those pathways. It's something you get better at the whole time you practice jiu-jitsu. So I can see a move on YouTube and then go to class and then catch it on a few people, right? And I can see it once and then do it. But I could not do that. I was nowhere near being able to do that as a white belt or a blue belt or a purple belt. In fact, I learned kind of slowly. Okay. So this time is a unique time because we're forced. I mean, people always work on this. A lot of people like go to YouTube. Some people don't. I recommend it. I think you should. But during this time, focus if you can on building the neural pathways between the visual part of your brain when you watch these and the motor part of your brain, that where you can almost feel yourself doing it when you're just watching it. And if you're learning by watching a video and then you're physically doing it at home, then you're doing more than most people ever do with all of the DVDs that they buy. A lot of people buy them, and then because they don't have maybe the visual motor connection in their brain, they only do the one or two moves from the DVD that they really liked or remembered, and then they brought those by memory into school and practiced them with a partner. The fact that you're at home practicing some jiu-jitsu after watching a video, if this is a habit you can build now, or a skill, I mean, everything's a skill. If it's a skill you can build now to be able to see a video and then practice a little bit at home, solo in particular, then every DVD you buy for the rest of your career, you're going to get more out of than I did in like almost my whole career. Okay. So this time is different and it's a little weird, but focus like I said, on this visual to motor component of what we're doing here, especially people who are only able to watch these. And I know I have students who are only able to watch them because of they are the only person they have to watch a child or something like that. So anyway, even if you're just watching these, use this time because it's a unique type of learning, and this is something that we can do right now and can get better at. And in fact, some of you will be better at than I ever was because of the time you spend doing this at home. Okay, so that said, let's get into a warm-up. Let's start moving around a little bit. So I'm going to stay seated. I'm in a landscape view here on Facebook. So my head's going to get chopped off above about waist height, unless I make a change, which I may have to do. Okay, so now start moving your arms around. Other way. Okay, and now just get your chest sort of moving, stretched out, chest, upper back. Get a little stretch going. Okay. Let's do, while we're down here, let's do our neck. So look left, right. So look right. And switch sides, left. Side to side, make it a stretch. Look up and down. Make it stretch. And then ear to shoulder. Oh, hey, someone gave me a thumbs up on YouTube. Thanks. And then circle. So let's circle. That's all of the movements you just did combined. Okay. And I am trying to end at 7:30 for Katie's yoga class. So be watching for that on YouTube, PMA students. Let's do this. Let's stand up. It is going to be full body today. So let's do knee circles, right? Go ahead and start knee circles. I'm going to get just a little better angle here for the Facebook people. All right, so knee circles. Other way. All right, feet apart, hip circles. I was leaned over today, walking around leaned over, picking up sticks at my new house, and there's like sort of some land here, so it's a lot of walking around leaned over, picking up sticks. So I can tell my lower back is reminding me of what my day consisted of. Yesterday was crazy windstorms. Okay. Let's do this. I'm going to change the angle, sort of even a little higher here for the Facebook folks. We're going to get to where you don't see the ground, but when we get to the ground, we'll talk about it. Okay. So right now, I just want to talk about footwork. Footwork should be every time you take a step from a fight pose. Fight pose should be, you should cover your cheekbones or your temple, your lead temple, your rear temple with your fists here. So that's like, and my elbows are covering my ribs. That's why they're not open. So I can't get kicked in the ribs. I can't get punched in the temple. If my hands are close enough together, not so close I can't see, but close enough, I shouldn't get hit in the nose. I should be able to cover up here, and I'm covering my jaw. So those are all the buttons. Those are the buttons that easily pushed would knock me out. So that's the reason that we do this, right? And then our footwork should be this. I'm going to start tonight by mentioning this. Last night I mentioned it kind of halfway through. When I'm standing in fight stance, I'm not kind of leaning forward. I'm kind of leaning onto my back foot, and that's because if somebody enters my space, I have a little bit of a kick. I'm kicking at their knee, and somebody would go, whoop, right? So somebody who was walking in and I kick at their knee might kind of, whoop. Okay? So that's the idea there. So I'm actually on my back foot a little more than my front foot, which may be counterintuitive. Okay? And then from here, let's go forward, which I do with my front foot. So stepping forward is front foot first. Whoa, I slid. Back is with your back foot first. So back is not 1, 2, because in the moment my feet are together, I'm at risk, right? So let's go. I'm gonna do this. I am gonna show my feet to Facebook world. Memento. Okay. Well, good enough. Forward. Okay. Back. Okay. I'm going to change my angle just a little bit. Forward. So that's we're just practicing stepping with the correct foot first and keeping our feet a little more than shoulder width apart. And now remind yourself that you're might need to use your front leg. So more weight on your back foot, right? When we walk around, back foot, forward, backward, forward. And I still have this foot to use because there's not too much weight on it. The other bad thing about leaning forward, if it's not obvious, is that it's easier to hit me when I'm there, okay? Let's do this. Side, right? If I go left, I have my, on Facebook or YouTube, I forget which, it reverses the image. Okay, so when I say left, I mean left. So listen to my voice more than what you see, if this is in any way confusing by what you see. Okay, so my hands are in position, my weight's a little more on my back foot. When I say left, I step with my left foot first. It's my left foot is forward, so it's my lead leg. Left leg is moving me left. That's when it starts. And then right, it'll be the other one. That's for circling, right? Because you never want to, just as much as you don't want to bring your feet together to walk forward, you don't want to cross your feet to move laterally. So we always open our legs before bringing together. Okay. So I'm just going to say forward, back, left, right. This stuff is actually super important that we practice it and that you get used to some of these things. With a partner, we're getting used to the bubble, like how much space we want, which we'll talk about in a minute. But for us, for solo, I think too many people put too much weight on the front foot. That's a good thing. Too many people drop their hands. So be focused on all these things, right? Hands are up, block your temples, right? Okay. Now, and a little more weight on the back foot. So I'll call it forward, 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 backwards, back, back, left, forward, forward, right, right, left, back, back, forward. Where is your weight? Forward. Which foot? Back, back. Make sure you still have your weapon, right? Left, left, right, forward, left, right, backward, right, forward, left. Okay. You got it. So that's just walking around. And now I'm going to bring us down here. Oh. Click. It's the click of something not going my way. Hold on one sec. Well, all right. Okay. So now let's talk about that's movement. Now let's do our series. Our series is going to be somebody is standing, a little bit away from me, 2 arms lengths away from me is usually what I call like our safe bubble. Because if you double the length of my arm, that distance is a distance that neither of us can hit or kick each other. Okay. But let's say someone's over there and they step into the bubble, into the 2 arms length space. They step forward. I'm going to step back, right? And I'm going to keep us that same distance apart. When I back up, somebody who was like coming in, like they want to fight me, like whether they have a stance or not, maybe they're even just doing this. I'm going to back up and try to maintain that space. But at the point when, and this is basic jiu-jitsu theory, at the point when they get close enough to me that the bubble, which I'll keep as long as I can, that they break through the bubble, which is probably they're walking in, I back up, and then they're like, okay. And they try to cover all that space at once. That's when I'm going to move forward. So they push me at the other edge of the bubble. When they run in, I run in. They pop the bubble, I run in. So they push the bubble, they pop the bubble, I close. Okay. So I'm always 2 arms lengths away or against a person. And we're going to talk about covering that distance right now so that you don't get punched on the way from the other side of the bubble to in full contact, right? So I'm gonna take 2 steps backwards. That's the bubble getting pushed. When the bubble gets popped, I'm gonna run in and I get into this position here. So what is this position? I have my hands touching my head, and my forearms are a battering ram. And boom. I don't want my hands in front of my head and batter into them because I'll hit my face. Okay. So hands are holding not even my forehead, but the crown of my head, because you notice that now I can see again. Okay. So our scenario is this. I'm going to go back. I'm managing space. And when they pop the bubble because they're moving too fast or there's a wall behind me or whatever reason the bubble pops, boom. And I'm going to take a second step forward and wrap. I hold my wrist. Okay. Nothing wrong with gable gripping. I have a long history of doing the wrist grab, and that's what I do. Okay. So both are fine. So someone's entering my space. It's 1, 2, and then they pop the bubble. That's 1. And then I take a step forward with the same foot and I wrap. So it'll be the same foot. If it's one foot, if it's their other, if they're facing one way or throwing their right hand, they throw their left. It's true that I will boom and then wrap. As long as it's no more than 2 steps. You don't want a ton of footwork here. Okay. You just want to close the distance as efficiently as possible. Okay. So let's do it. Hands are up. So knuckles against your temples, right? You got a little more weight on the back foot. It's 1, 2, bump, wrap. Okay, let's do that together. 1, 2, bump, wrap. So cover up, weight on your back leg, backwards 1, backwards 2, and then bump and wrap. Same thing, backwards, backwards, bump and wrap. Okay, and be imagining where the person is. We'll do this 3 more times, right? So your hands are in the right spot, which is at your temples. You're a little more weight on your back leg, back, back, and then bubble pops, bump and wrap. Do it again, hands where they go. Not too much weight on your front foot, back foot, so you can use this front foot. 1, 2, bump and wrap. Last one. 1, 2, bump and wrap. Okay. Once I've wrapped around, once I've got a grip on my person, I'm going to do this. I want you to think in sort of a circle, but what I did when I stepped forward and I wrapped my arm around them is this here. This is a little easier to see on YouTube, so I'd like to give me 1 sec. Need something to put that on. Let's get a little higher. Can you see the floor now? Almost. Sorry, 1 sec. Okay. So I just want you guys to be able to see the floor. If you picture that the person's feet are here and here, because this is where they were when I bumped into them, and their feet are on the ground here and here. That second step, when I step in, I'm stepping next to their feet in a line. So I'm not beside them. It isn't T position where I'm here. I'm just 1 step. I stepped around to the side. Front clinch, we can talk in a lot more detail about in person. But imagining that I've now put my foot next to their feet on the ground when I wrapped around. Now you know that if I step forward with my right foot, I'm stepping in front of their 2 feet, essentially. So these are their feet. I step right, and I make a perfect triangle with their 2 feet. And that's what this next step is. And it's only the setup step for our leg hook takedown. But after I pump and wrap, now my foot's next to their feet. This one makes a perfect triangle with their feet. And then this one comes around behind their leg, picks it up with my heel, and I turn this way. And it's a leg hook. It's a tripping takedown. So just to show you, if I'm back, clinched and wrapped, I'm going to step in, hook their leg, pick it up, and turn and land in a mount here. So let's see if we can put all that together. So start standing. Someone's going to encroach your space. 1, 2, and then pop the bubble. Bump and wrap. And now step in. That's your setup step. So you can pick their leg, pick it up, turn, and you're going to hit the ground. You're going to be in mount. Okay? So I'm going to go 1, 2, bubble pops, bump and wrap. My foot is next to their feet. Now I'm going to step in front of their feet and then pick one of them, pick it up and turn. Okay? This is and a lot of times we practice this and it's kind of like a nice looking leg hook sweep, leg hook takedown. In practice, if you run forward and grab them and then wrap your leg around and sort of trip them, yeah, maybe it's not a beautiful pirouetting circle, right? But if we practice it this way, we have that opportunity if we're kind of like static in space, higher chance that you're going to be like hitting them with some velocity. You're both going to be moving. It's going to be very dynamic. 2 feet tripping around, like one tripping the other is going to be actually easier than we make it look, honestly, when we practice the leg hook takedown. Super easy when 2 people are stumbling around to be just a hook a leg and fall, drag them down essentially. So let's do same thing, back twice, and then bubble pops, bump and wrap and takedown. So 1, 2, bubble pops, bump and wrap, step and hook and sweep down to mount. Let's do it again. Back, back, bubble pops, bump and wrap, step, hook, and sweep. Take them down to mount. We're going to do 3 more. Okay, so a little more weight on your back foot than your front so that you can kick if you need to when they enter your area, your space. Okay, so 1, 2, bubble pops, bump and wrap, step, hook, and take them down to mount. 2 more. Back, back, bubble pops, bump, wrap, step, hook, and and take them down to mount. Last one. Back, back, bubble pops. Bump, wrap, step, foot, and sweep them down to mount. Okay. So we got here. We got to mount. You know, every altercation, every fight scenario, which is that this is supposed to be based on fight scenarios, this workout is going to be a connection of some sort. And it might be they grab you, and it might be, you know, you grab them, which we did. We bumped and wrapped. It's going to be a connection, a takedown, a dominant position. So we're most of the way through, and then a submission or a finish. They're not going to submit in the real world. You're gonna wound them, so they can't hurt you, or you're gonna put them to sleep. Okay. So we prefer to put them to sleep, and that's what we're going to do in this fight scenario. So we're going to linger in step 3 a little bit. Connection, takedown, dominant position, and then submission. So before we submit, even though I could possibly submit from here and tear a shoulder or, you know, break an arm, instead of doing that, especially because we're going to talk about the very most common behavior. Like this is plan A for a fight, for a jiu-jitsu guy. This should be plan A. Common behavior. They're going to turn over, right? When I get mount, if I sit up and I throw punches, I'm going to throw slaps. I'm going to throw open hand slaps, but I'm not going to throw these. I'm not, like Greg said, throw open hand slaps. I'm going to do this. All right. It's not patty cake. It's not Gracie paws, like a little kitty cat, right? If I'm in mount and I sit up, I'm going to turn my shoulders. I'm going to widen my eyes, and I'm going to be scared. I want to scare them into turning over, so I don't have to hit them a lot of times. They get scared and they turn over. Good, they'll turn over. Not because I love them, but because I don't want to hurt my hands. I don't want to hurt them with open hands, and I definitely don't want to do fists. Fists is a guaranteed broken knuckle, broken metacarpal, tarsal, carpal. It's going to be bad for your hands, so don't punch skulls. Skulls are very hard. We're here, sit up, throw punches, and we're going to accommodate. They're trying to roll over underneath us. People come in all sizes, man. One thing we don't want is for them to roll over, sort of catch my calf, like roll their weight onto my calf, and now I get knocked off. So holding on too tightly when adrenaline's running is going to be something it's going to be a pitfall for you. Don't hold on too tightly with your legs from mount in a fight situation. You actually want to, when you throw these punches and they start to turn over underneath you, just so they don't land on your leg and roll you off, you're going to accommodate. You're going to move yourself over. In fact, you could even turn sideways and kind of do this to make sure they have room to turn over. That's something they do in Gracie combatives, or well, with the kids anyway. So I throw my punches. I accommodate them turning over. I'm opening space instead of closing space. The other thing we do in jiu-jitsu, open spaces, right? Now, if I was on the bottom and I was like, oh God, don't hit me, and I turned over, around now I'm going to start to get the idea that, oh, wait a minute. If I can build my base back up, maybe I can like get away or get on top again or keep fighting. But certainly from getting punched from someone who just took me down, I already see that I'm losing. And when I turn over, it's going to be very natural for someone to want to come up to their knees, build up a base. If you were here a couple classes ago, we talked about building up your base from underneath, build a foundation, and get away. Okay. So we're going to let those two things happen, the turnover and the get up. So I'm here, I sit up, I scare them into turning over. I accommodate that. I accommodate the get up. I actually let them get up, and I put my feet inside their knees. Their knees are here. My feet are going to go here and here. Those are our hooks. Same hooks we'll have when we take the back in every other case as well. I'm going to wrap under both arms. So not a harness over and under, not over and under, but under both arms. And now for us to practice solo, I can't levitate. So I'm going to have to put my hands on the floor. So this represents this. Okay. So I put my arms underneath, my hands on the floor. And now I'm going to do this. I'm going to put my shoelaces on the floor and my feet together and open my knees and drive down. Okay. So I was mounted, I do punches, I moved over, I pop up so that they can actually come up to their knees. I put my hooks in, and now I'm going to get a harness, but that's going to be my hands on the ground. Now put your shoelaces on the ground. I'm actually bouncing on the tops of my feet, heels together, open your knees and drive down. And now I've taken the back. So we made a connection. We did a takedown, and we got a dominant position, but we wanted an even more dominant position. So we we climb the totem pole of positions to the back, which belly down, back control, best place for us to be, worst place for them to be. So let's put together all that we just did, and then we'll talk about, if we have time, we'll talk about the choke. Okay, so from standing again, I'm gonna go, they push my bubble twice. So make sure you have a weapon in front, right? Cover your temples, a little more weight on the back foot. Back, the bubble pops. Bump, wrap. Step in, hook the leg and take them down to mount. Sit up, scare them into turning over. They turn over. They try to get up. That's them getting up underneath me. So I get up. I put my hooks inside their thighs and I grab a harness here. I put my toes between their legs pointing backwards and I open my knees. That drives them down. Your feet should be together, even at the end of this movement. Feet together. Okay? Now I've got the back and I can work on sinking a choke. Okay? Let's do that 3 more times. They push my bubble. They pop my bubble. Too close or I run out of room. Bump, wrap, step, hook the leg, take them down. I'm trying to do this a little further away so Facebook can see. Okay? From here, sit up, scare them into turning over, let it happen. They'll try to get up into turtle, essentially. You can put your feet in front of their knees, wrap under their arms. You can put your shoelaces on the ground, open your knees. This is you driving them down to the ground. Okay? 2 more. The bubble gets pushed twice, once, twice. Bubble pops, bump, and wrap. Your foot is next to their feet. You're going to step between their feet, hook their leg, and take them down. Right here. Sit up, scare them. Boom. They roll over. They get up. You put your hooks in, you put your arms in. Hands on the floor. Shoelaces down. That's your toes pointing backwards out the back door. Open your knees. Feet are together at the end. Last one. Bubble gets pushed once, twice. Bump, wrap, step, hook, leg hook takedown. Right? Throw punches. They turn over. You let them get up. Put your hooks in. Put your harness in. Put your toes to the back. Open your hips. Drive them down. Okay. The last piece of this with our last 3 minutes will be the choke. When someone's on the ground, belly down, and you've driven them down, they're gonna probably tuck their chin and be looking one way. Not a lot of people hang out nose down in a fight, especially if we're talking about asphalt. I'm not gonna put my face on the ground for you. I'm probably, grinning and bearing my cheek or temple being on the floor here. And we're gonna come in the side, for our purposes today, we're gonna come in the side that's easier. Which is gonna be this side here. When somebody does this, they're laying on the ground, here's the floor. We're gonna come in the open side. Go right across. I'm not even trying to go under the chin now. Not in this fight scenario. I'm going to go right across the jaw at the mouth, right here, and then hold the shoulder. Okay, that's not comfy, right? To them, it's like a neck crank. Nobody taps out in a fight, so I'm not trying to tap them out. But I come across the face, hold the shoulder, and then with the other hand, I'm going to strike the face. This is what Nate Diaz did to Conor McGregor. We've all seen that finish. He caught him here. He hit his face right into the choke. Now you're in the choke, and now you can sink your choke, okay? So starting from this position here, having just driven the person down, I'm going to drive across their face and hold their shoulder. An open palm strike is fine. That's going to be plenty to center their chin on my elbow. We talk a lot about center your elbow with their chin. Well, in this case, I'm coming across the face, and I'm centering their chin with my elbow, and then hand on hand, then sink the choke, okay? So I just got to here and I drove my person down. Their head, assuming they're looking left, I'm going to take my right arm. Come in across the face, hold the shoulder, strike the face so that the chin lines up with my elbow. It can be, like I said, it's no worse than, like a high school play slap. It doesn't, just to move their head, boom. And then you can sink the choke. Sinking the choke is going to look like this, hand on hand. Open this elbow, second elbow. So this one's in. Hand on hand, open this so that this hand can shoot behind the head, and now we can add our weight. To do the whole thing 2 times, then we'll wrap it up. Get ready to get your bubble pushed. Back foot is more weight, right? 1, 2, bump, wrap, step, hook takedown, right? Throw punches, accommodate the move, accommodate the get up. Put your hooks in, put your harness in, put your shoelaces down. Open your hips, Okay, I'm going to turn so you guys can see. You just drove them down. Come across the face. Hold the shoulder. Strike the face. Sink the choke. Last one. Sorry for not getting it from base. Okay. Front leg is a weapon. So more weight on your back foot. Bubble gets pushed. Chew. Bump. And wrap. Take them down. Throw strikes. Accommodate the rollover. Accommodate the get up. Hooks in. Harness in. Shoelaces down. Open your knees. And from here, having just flattened down, come across the face and hold the shoulder. And then slap the face into position. Sink your choke. Okay. This is the same scenario I did yesterday. We're going to wrap it up here. I have more time tomorrow, and I'm going to do an alternate scenario with my more favorite takedown than this, and a different submission little series. So tune in tomorrow, Wednesdays, 8 o'clock for that. Thanks for your attention. Yoga with Katie's up next for all the Facebook people. Thanks you two for tuning in. And I gave my spiel in the beginning, so that's that. Thank you guys. Take care.